It's a frustrating reality that almost every decent man has witnessed firsthand. She talks about wanting a kind, respectful partner who treats her well. Yet her actions tell a completely different story. She goes back to the aloof, challenging, and unpredictable guy instead. The considerate man is forgotten. The demanding one is remembered. The agreeable man is ignored. The intriguing man is pursued. This isn't a rare exception. It's a common pattern. It's uncomfortable to discuss, yet impossible to ignore. And right here is where the real explanation begins. This video isn't endorsing poor behavior. It's explaining the psychological and biological framework behind this powerful attraction. Why does a woman's focus sharpen around men who project independence and strength? Why does her instinct engage with someone her logical mind might question? Because at a primal level, she senses something she may never voice. The reason is complex, anchored in ancient human survival systems where attraction follows instinct, not just virtue. Leading evolutionary psychologists have studied this for decades. Women employ different relationship strategies for short-term and long-term contexts. Under certain conditions, traits like supreme confidence, emotional resilience, and clear self-interest are subconsciously read as signs of capability, high status, and competitive success. To the male mind, this seems illogical. To deep-seated instinct, it is perfectly coherent. Her attraction isn't asking, "Is he nice?" It's asking, "Is he capable?" This difficult truth is what we will unpack now. 3 hidden drivers explain why intense men often win in certain scenarios. The craving for emotional depth, the instinctive recognition of inner strength, and the magnetic pull of self-contained purpose. When these 3 combine, the pleasant man fades and the compelling man stands out. This isn't a judgment of your character. It's human nature. The nice man provides ease. The intense man creates a memorable impression, and that impression lingers. What you'll discover might feel unsettling, but it will also bring clarity. Being passed over for a man who seems lesser in many ways isn't a comment on your worth. It's a reflection of deep-seated attraction patterns. Once you grasp the system, you stop blaming yourself and learn how to be seen, not by acting callous, but by ceasing to be background noise. The first layer, her mind responds to compelling presence, not just constant kindness. Here's what the typical good man overlooks. He offers too much, too early. He provides security before establishing a strong presence. He gives comfort before making any real impact. He attempts to win her with calm predictability, while her nervous system is subtly activated by something else entirely. For many women, the nice guy becomes overly familiar. He doesn't generate any compelling tension or contrast that alert state or biology can interpret as attraction. He becomes part of the routine, and routine doesn't ignite desire. This is a critical error. Men assume a woman only seeks peace, but her nervous system is drawn to emotional resonance, not drama, but authentic, contained intensity. This is the man who prioritizes his own mission, isn't perpetually on call, has standards, is self-assured, and doesn't seek approval. The average man tries to impress by being accommodating. The exceptional man impresses by being distinctive, and distinctiveness always beats monotony. Science supports this. Research indicates the brain releases more dopamine in response to uncertain rewards than guaranteed ones. When the outcome is uncertain, the mind focuses, engages, and retains a memory. This explains the draw to men who are centered, intense, or less predictable. It's not their constant attention, but the variation. Engagement sometimes, space other times, focus connection, then a return to their own world. This builds emotional peaks. The agreeable man rarely does. That's why promises like, "I'll always be safe," rarely spark excitement. Interest ignites with the thought, "I'm not entirely sure what he'll do next." It's not about real threat. It's the presence of a man with his own gravity. Total predictability dulls excitement. A degree of unpredictability, paired with inner strength, stimulates attraction. Many misunderstand this. It's not about being unkind. It's about ending total emotional transparency. Psychology indicates that assertiveness, independence, and healthy self-interest can be attractive in the short term because they signal strength, autonomy, and decisiveness. The agreeable man falters because he adjusts too much, concedes too much, yields too much. This silently communicates, I will change to be chosen. And that does not inspire respect. Respect is earned by those who value themselves. The answer isn't to become disagreeable. It's to master compelling presence. Offer genuine, focused attention. Then return to your own world, your goals, your path. Don't answer every message instantly. Don't share every feeling on day one. Don't shift your position at the first sign of friction. Intensity isn't loud, arrogant, or rude. It's depth, purpose, and direction. A man who learns this ceases to be just another friendly face. He becomes impactful. Before we reveal the most raw layer of this topic, the one that connects instinct, perception, and choice in a fundamental way, you need to understand this. Most men believe they understand women, but they don't. They memorize phrases, watch scattered videos, or rely on guesses. Consequently, they mistake kindness for core value, availability for compliance, and steadiness for dullness. They miss that female choice often operates through subconscious mechanisms, in a realm guided less by logic and more by biology, instinct, and subtle signals. If you genuinely want to understand female psychology, not the sanitized version, but the real, operational truth, you need a clear framework for these dynamics. For men ready to grasp what truly influences her gaze, her quiet moments, her subtle tests, and her unconscious leanings, a structured system exists. This isn't about rehearsed dialogues. It's about strategic behavior, nonverbal communication, emotional intelligence, and the real-world application of attraction principles. It's a knowledge that separates men who follow from men who lead. If you're ready to move from observing patterns to influencing outcomes, this system is for you. The second layer, the instinctive recognition of strength and resolve. A common error damages a man standing in a woman's eyes, and most make it thinking it's correct. They confuse being kind with being soft. They believe that by being endlessly understanding, flexible, patient, and available, they are demonstrating maturity. But to a woman's instinct, this can often register as a lack of fortitude, an aversion to tension, or a fear of loss. The good man thinks he's being noble. The woman, without fully articulating it, may perceive someone who is easily managed. Evolutionary psychology clarifies this. Throughout human history, women needed to identify men who could provide security, maintain social standing, and succeed in competitive environments. Men who couldn't enforce boundaries or compete effectively were overlooked. This instinct persists. Women aren't subtly asking if you're merely polite. They're assessing if you're capable, resilient, and self-respecting. It's not about being moral. It's about being competent. Here's the twist. The so-called harsh man often isn't truly harsh. He simply values himself without apology or pleading. He knows how to set a limit. He won't trade his self-respect to keep someone nearby. This isn't hostility. It's quiet conviction. A woman responds to this solidity because it signals security and reliability, not because she desires mistreatment. Meanwhile, the endlessly adaptable man blends into the scenery. Being excessively agreeable doesn't make you desired. It makes you interchangeable. Social studies confirm this. Men who are self-assured, principle-driven, and able to navigate tension are viewed as more attractive, particularly in early-stage attraction. What truly draws is firmness, not harshness. It's the man who isn't terrified to disagree or cause a moment of disappointment, because her instinct doesn't want obedience. It wants a solid foundation. The aim isn't pretend to be tough or unfeeling. The aim is to rebuild what many men have surrendered. Clear standards, non-negotiable objectives, consistent habits, and a life not dictated by another's mood. A man who puts his purpose first is seen as strong, not selfish. His life progresses with or without external validation. This alters the entire dynamic. The good man pauses for her. The grounded man moves forward, and she naturally aligns with his momentum. It is motion and intent that build attraction. The feeling that she is engaging with a man who already has a destination. When you don't fold under every minor test, when you hold your center under pressure, you signal the most vital message. You are stable, solid, and dependable. Substance always outlasts fragility. And this is what her mind acknowledges, even if she never says it aloud. The third layer, the element of depth and the engagement with substance. There's an unspoken reality many men miss. Some women consistently find themselves captivated by men who are resolute, complex, or not entirely transparent. This isn't irrationality or a draw toward pain. It stems from a deep, almost archetypal narrative that has echoed for generations. The engagement with a man of substance and depth, the dynamic with centered, purposeful man, becomes more than a simple partnership. It becomes a meaningful experience, engagement that few men replicate. While the agreeable man reveals everything quickly, the substantial man discloses himself in stages. And it is within those stages that fascination grows. There's a neurological basis for this. The human brain responds to engaging complexity with increased focus and chemical reward. Studies show that moderate, non-threatening emotional engagement can elevate adrenaline, dopamine, and attention without conscious awareness. Some individuals are pulled toward this mix of safety and stimulating depth because it forges powerful, lasting memories. The agreeable man offers comfort and calm. The substantial man offers contrast and awakening. She doesn't want turmoil. She wants to feel truly engaged. The resolute, purposeful presence ignites an aliveness that pure predictability cannot. This is why certain men are remembered for years, even if they weren't ideal long-term partners. Research on emotional memory confirms the brain encodes intense experiences more deeply. It's not about logic. It's about psychological resonance. The strong man is not the abusive man. Integrity matters. Authentic attraction stems from depth with direction, standards with connection, passion with awareness. The energy that draws a woman isn't predatory. It's the energy of a man who is assured, decisive, and self-possessed. He engages her, doesn't play games, and remains authentically himself. He doesn't act cruel. He demonstrates inner fortitude. This blend creates genuine magnetism, masculine presence paired with self-mastery. He activates parts of her mind and emotion that a neutral or overly predictable man cannot reach. To be truly compelling, you don't need edge. You need substance and presence. Women don't crave hurt, but they crave feeling. They don't desire suffering. They desire meaningful intensity. And without that depth of presence, that feeling is absent. This is the final component. Depth with control, substance with ethics, presence with purpose. This transforms a man from ordinary to unforgettable. In summary, a great thinker once noted that people are drawn not to what is merely safe, but to what possesses risk, substance, and transformative potential. Viewing male-female dynamics through this lens, the truth emerges. It isn't harshness that attracts. It's the psychological impact that sometimes appears as harshness. A woman doesn't form a deep bond with a man who offers only comfort. Comfort without strength becomes uninteresting. Comfort without depth leaves no mark. Comfort without a backbone renders him unnoticeable. Our 3 layers explain this. Depth over blandness. Her neurology responds to emotional engagement, not just pleasantness. A man who creates moments of genuine interaction, engagement, or compelling unpredictability becomes memorable. Strength and resolve. Instinctively, she reads inner fortitude, self-belief, and self-value as authentic worth. Modern norms don't erase biology. She is drawn to someone who can navigate life's challenges, not someone life simply happens to. The depth factor. There's a profound ancestral attraction to men who carry purpose, substance, and a sense of self. The man who is an open book, who maintains a degree of personal mystery, who stimulates interest naturally. The conclusion is straightforward yet challenging. If you remain only good, predictable, overly polite, or too pliable, you'll become a man she likes but doesn't passionately desire. The man she views as reliable but doesn't feel deeply for. The man she calls great but can't fully engage with. Kindness without strength is insubstantial. Kindness without depth is forgettable. Kindness without boundaries is self-neglect. This clarifies why many good men lose to seemingly less suitable men. Not because the others are better, but because they deliver what the good men often omit: emotional and psychological substance. If you want to stop being overlooked and start being a man who makes an impact, who ignites genuine desire, and earns quiet respect, you must understand female psychology at this level. You need to know how attraction operates on an instinctive plane. You must master presence, nonverbal communication, emotional engagement, purpose, and authentic magnetism. None of this involves rehearsed phrases or shallow tactics. It's grounded in science, observable behavior, and human dynamics. To learn this in a structured, practical, and meaningful way, a key system exists. There, you learn how to blend strength, emotional depth, and integrity to become a rare man. Unforgettable, compelling, and fully present. You don't need to be cruel to captivate. You need to master what truly resonates. If this exploration brought you clarity, show your support. It helps more than you know. Like this video now to help this channel, Winds of Thought, reach more men who need this message. Her attraction isn't asking, is he nice? It's asking, is he capable? Kindness without strength is insubstantial. Kindness without depth is forgettable.